to the C. Allen Morning Show. We have Marcia Cole. Marcia, sorry we had to interrupt you. If you can continue answering your question, that would be great.
Sure. Well, my perspective when it comes to how do we harness power, how do we harness in particular our purchasing power, the question then goes back to really what do we want exactly? Do we want more companies to show our faces, create more products for us, or do we want to harness our power by creating products yourself, becoming an entrepreneur within that marketplace, understanding or researching or seeing what are the white spaces within it where you can create a niche for yourself and recirculate money within the community. So, the question becomes, what are the goals when it comes to harnessing, our power, and how do we really want to harness that power? Do we want to be the owners of those funds that are being created, which will allow us to create jobs for our community, for us? That's harnessing power to me, as opposed to getting someone into the top position of a company. That's one way.
Excellent.
But I think a bigger way, and a more impactful way, and a more lasting way is to create companies and thinking big on those big in those areas where you make an impact. And a perfect example of that is the Miko and Titi of Miss Jessie's. They're a perfect example. Whereas they created a
yes, Marcia.
salon.
Yes. Talk about it.
Started a salon, to treat hair like they had. Mix of African American and Japanese, curly, kinky in some parts, where no one understand it, neither black stylists or white stylists, and no one would understand it growing up. But they learned from their grandmother, and then started mixing up products that really worked for their clients who had hair texture like theirs or different. And then it grew out of this grassroots need, and really just carved this huge wave in the hair care industry. And they are, the modern day, Madam C.J. Walkers, because they've really created and have been the leaders of this natural hair movement. Natural hair, or African American women returning to their natural textures. I mean, it started, we had, what was going on in the Black Power movement, and then we overcame, right, or thought we overcame, and then we wanted to blend in more in society, because now that hair, that afro, represented a political statement, and no one wanted to be political in that way on their job.
Marcia, not to cut you off. So now, where do you feel that the Black beauty community is now? Since we talked about, have we really, have we really progressed, Marcia, in your opinion?
I think we've progressed in certain areas, and I think that when it comes to beauty, I think that there's certainly bigger strides to be made. Definitely, when you talk about the light skin, dark skin, especially with the new documentary that's coming out called Dark Girls.
That's right.
That's right.
There's great progress to be made, but it really starts on an individual, and the individual connecting with other individuals who are making that progress and who are joining together, and then there's a collective, and once there's a collective, then there's movement, and that's what's going on with the natural hair movement in of itself, in terms of appreciating the texture, appreciating your style, and not necessarily it being about a statement, but it's a preference, it's a choice, it's what I choose to make.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's awesome. And when you talk about Madam C.J. Walker, my favorite.
That's your favorite.
My favorite quote, Marcia, from Madam C.J. Walker: "It doesn't matter how good you are if nobody knows."
And nobody knows, yes.
And I think that's important. I'm switching gears. I think that's important that people who are out there, like the Miss Jessies and other people that no one knows anything about, their great, awesome invention or talent, they have to get on board with people like Marcia Cole and others that can push forward their product so people can see. So all of you out there making awesome things in your kitchen, and all of you out there who have awesome talent and have no clue what the next step is, we want you to go to ambermag.com. We want you to be able to leave a message on the Sea Island Morning Show. You'll be able to get in touch with Marcia through the Sea Island Morning Show. And let's be empowered today on King Holiday. Be empowered to take your career to the next level. You know, I got a text yesterday, Marcia, from one of my former managers who says, you know, it's time that I take my career to the next level. And I think that's important, and we can appreciate that. Just follow through what you say you do. Get out there and make it work. That's part of, I don't know, Marcia, if you heard the, okay, 7, because Marcia, I get to start preaching now.
And
so
he'll keep going.
I'm going to bring it in, Marcia.
You know,
Go ahead, baby.
It's a lot of work, and we, you know, it's easy for people to look at the end results of everything and say, or even complain about, you know, what people do or don't do. But it is a lot of work, and it requires a lot of time and a lot of effort. And, you know, and I think that, you know, the biggest areas of growth that Black businesses and people who are entering into entrepreneurship, because there's a huge movement around that as well, is just understanding that you will be able to grow. You will stumble.
Well, you know, on that topic, you know, talking about effort and work, you've done a lot of work with a lot of people, and I mean, it's across the board. You have Latina, you have this one, you have the other one. Why don't you talk to those young listeners, and not young in age, I mean young in your career, that are striving to make the same achievements that you have, and explain to them how you're able to break those doors down? Well,
you know what? It is always about the work that you know, the work that you've done, who you know, because that helps to open a door. But
Yes.
who you know will help to open a door, meaning a friend, you know, a colleague recommended me for this position. But they wouldn't be able to recommend me for something unless I did great work.
That's right.
And was that work always paid work, or were there times that you ingratiated yourself and became an intern or paid some dues?
Well, when I started it, my first job, I made barely nothing, and I worked part-time.
Exactly.
I worked a full-time job, you know, and this was real. I mean, this was back in the, you know, the late 80s, and, you know, it paid nothing. It paid nothing out of my college degree.
But it paid something in your career. How about that?
But it paid something in my career. Oh, you absolutely have to, you know, putting in the work means that you do the work, and you find a way to do the work, whether you're doing an internship where you're learning, whether you're seeking out mentors, and you are also, you know, giving as much as you are taking from that mentor. All of that happens. And networking
Giving as much as you are taking from that mentor. You just said a mouthful.
Yes, that's very important, because people are everyone is really happy to, you know, share information and do, but people don't want to feel like, you know, they're in True Blood and you're just sucking them dry. So,
honey, Marcia,
that's
I'm
a
not
good
gonna say point. Marcia, I'm gonna let 7 finish this up, because I feel a preaching spirit coming on over here about,
and we want to keep it at bay,
about Black entrepreneurs and what you did. Marcia, say that comment again about the sucking the dry, girl. Please say it one more time for me.
Well, you don't want to feel like, you know, you're in True Blood and, you know, people just sucking you dry. And on the flip side, you don't want to be the person just turning your neck saying, "Here, bite me."
Right.
You know, keep taking more, and you're just, you know, you don't want to do that. So it needs to just be a balance, and recognizing that, you know what, people are there for you to learn from. And they'll gladly share the information, but, you know, but don't, you know, there's a way to do it
don't
that
take
makes
advantage.
Don't take advantage, and there's a way to do it that puts you in a good position and good standing with them, as opposed to, you know, he's just like, oh my God, you're just a user.
Well,
no one wants to be.
You know, I could talk to you all morning, right?
Exactly.
But so I want to fit this in, because this is important. Tell us what's next.
Okay, so what's next is we have a show that we're working on that's based on the class. So I'm very excited about, you know, that. So by the next time I come around, it will be all solidified, and we'll be able to put that together. And so Styling Beyond the Chair, but the show will be called Main Star.
Will you tell us about it first?
Well, yes, we will tell you about it first. So once it's all finalized, I will tell you about it first and where and everything else. We have our Adore Your Beauty College Tour that will be starting in the end of March and April. So we'll be going to Spelman, Hampton, North Carolina A&T, and we're finalizing Howard University. So we'll see where that's happening. So that's targeting our younger consumers, and it's teaching them also about proper hair care, but we're providing styling services, and it's a great Adore Your Beauty Day.
Well, Marcia, it's that time. I hate to say goodbye.
We got to go, but Marcia, quickly, when you come to Howard University, you have to stop in on the Sea Island Morning Show.
Yes, yes.
If anybody want more information about Marcia, please go to the SeaIslandMorningShow.com. We'll be right back after these messages.